Right, welcome back, Shaggers, to Systematically Getting Jacked for Grappling. This is part two. Part one covered the what. This is going to kind of cover the how. Part one covered the best exercises, I believe, for grapplers to get jacked and explosive on the mat. Part two is going to show you the how. And first off, I want to thank everybody that subscribed, commented. It really did help me start building this second video for you. So this one's going to kind of show you the how to build a program for yourself. Whether you train 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, this video is going to help you. And I'm going to show you how exactly to build it into your week. And again, all free, no fluff. I just want to get straight to the point and help you as much as I can. So first things first, when it comes to an actual session, I like to break it down into 6 blocks. I call it my foundational 6 blocks. And those 6 blocks are, I'm going to put them up on here. Block 1 will be your warm-up on mobility. Here, we can start to do some mobility and prehab work. And this just could be as simple as jumping on a bike for 5 minutes, rolling around, getting ready to lift. Block 2 is technical coordination. This is pretty much our plyos and power block. In here is a combination of either plyometrics, jumps, Olympic lifts, throws. If you don't like Olympic lifting, you could just utilize doing jumps and throws. If you do like doing Olympic lifting, this is where you could slot those in. Block 3 is our absolute strength work. This is our heavy compounds, squats, presses, deadlifts, etc. Block 4 is hypertrophy. This is building muscle around the joints that take a massive battering on the mat. And let's be honest, we all want to get jacked. Block 5, the fun part. This is our accessories or pump block. This is all your beach muscles, your arms, your calves, your delts. It's your look good bits. And lastly, block 6 is optional conditioning. I don't think you have to include it all the time, but it isn't a bad idea to do so. And just off those 6 blocks there, you can build a session however you want, be that upper body, lower body, or full body. So the next question I was getting was, how do you plug this into your week, whether you're training jiu-jitsu a lot or not a lot? And this comes down to how many days you're grappling. The more you're grappling, the less you have to lift. If you can only lift 2 days a week, you'll need to focus on just the big lifts, the big rocks. And again, this could be if you're doing up to 10 jiu-jitsu sessions a week, you might just have to do the minimum effective dose. If you're lifting 3 days a week, I would probably go with an upper-lower full body split or an upper-lower-upper, depending on what your goals are. I think this is a perfect mix of performance, recovery, and getting jacked. And let's say you do prefer to lift more than you do jiu-jitsu, or you're not getting that many jiu-jitsu sessions because of life circumstances, then I would go with a Lulu split. A Lulu split is a lower, upper, and I would split that into lower power and strength, upper power and strength, lower impulse day, which is like a bit of a dynamic day, and then upper body pump hypertrophy day. Again, your lifting volume has got to match your grappling volume. If you're training loads of jiu-jitsu, you've got to lower your lifting days. If you're not rolling that much, you can push it a lot more in the gym. Here is just an example 2-day split. So if you're doing 2 days, I'd recommend you probably do 2 full body sessions focusing on the big lifts, the big rocks. Session 1 could just be 10 minutes of getting some plyometrics in, some jumps, moving on to some heavy squats, then moving into some strength at length with IDLs, and then we go into a hypertrophy push-pull, and then you can finish with arms, calves, and abs. Session 2 would start with a heavy deadlift variation, so it could be a stiff leg deadlift. Supersetting that with jumps. I know earlier in the blocks I said technical coordination comes first, but if you are short on time, you can start to mix and match up your sessions. So deadlifts with supersetted with jumps. And if you wanted to here, you could also slip in some stretching or some mobility work like a couch stretch or a pigeon stretch. Then we will move into some heavy push-pull, so bench and chins. And again, accessories can slip in here. I think one of the best combos is when you are doing your bench work, do your neck work. Sometimes when we leave our accessories towards the end of the session, we can't really be arsed or we half-arse it. So sometimes it's good to superset them with your absolute strength work. And then just because we're in a 2-day split, we could then finish with some single leg work to get that in, and also superset that with some arms and abs, because I know you won't skip those. If we're doing a 3-day split, again, I would go a lower, upper, and full body. Here is an example of a lower body, if you want to print screen that. Here is an example of an upper body day, if you want to print screen that. And lastly, here is an example of a full body split. And again here, if you notice that the technical coordination work is supersetted with the absolute strength work, because sometimes when you are short on time, you can start to mix and match these up. And lastly, for the Lulu split, I will just include a 4-day workout template in the bio completely for free. Just grab it. I don't want your email. I don't want anything. I just want you to go get jacked and grapple. Now, what actually affects your plan? So first things first is your grappling load. Obviously, if you're grappling 5+ times, then you're probably going to have to go for the minimum effective dose when it comes to your lifting. Whereas if you're only on the mat twice a week, you've got more time for lifting and more time for recovery. Another big factor is whether you are taking performance enhancing drugs or not. If you're enhanced, you're obviously going to recover faster. But lastly is sleep and nutrition. You can't expect to grow if you're sleeping like a fucking crackhead and you're eating like a toddler. So how do you build this for real? Steal my templates and use them. That's the first one. Each session, I would make sure you have some key performance indicator lifts. Try get your bench up. Try get your squat up. Try get your deadlift up. Try get your single leg work up. Try get your chin ups up. Try get your rows up. The stronger you get at those fucking lifts, I guarantee the better you can be as an athlete and the more jacked you will be. Nextly is actually track those lifts to see if you are actually getting better each session. Remember, it's not a sprint. Just keep progressing slowly over time. Obviously, anchor your BJJ schedule around your lifting. Don't force your lifting upon your grappling. And once you've got a really solid strength foundation, that's when you can start sprinkling your extras, your neck, your grip, and your pump work. Again, I see too many people worrying about the little things. They kind of major in the minors rather than worrying about getting actually fucking strong. If you get a 150 to a 200 kilo squat, I promise you, you will be an athletic freak. So to help you with this, I'm going to give you a tier system. For some reason, people love tier systems. So when it comes to writing a program, this is how I view things. Tier 1, these are your non-negotiables, which I try to perform 1 to 3 times a week, every week. And this will be squats, hinges, pulls, presses, both horizontally and vertically. So that means overhead press, bench press, explosive pulls, Olympic lifts, med ball throws, and lastly, jumps. These never leave the program, ever. The second tier, these get cycled through. They kind of come in every other week or every other block. This is your upper body pulls, penalty rows, chin-ups, dumbbell rows. Next is your unilateral lower body work, step-ups, split squats, lunges. Some spinal flexion and rotational work, such as Jefferson curls or sit-up variations. And then lastly is your hamstring isolation work, such as Nordics, glute ham raises, or single leg RDLs. These are still important, just not every week. And lastly, tier 3. These are your optional extras, such as tricep works like French presses, close grip bench presses, skull crushers. Next is your grip, farmer's walks, hangs, or even doing barbell complexes with no straps. Next is your groin / adductor work, planks, your Copenhagen holds, or even stuff like Cossacks. And then the little cherry on top, what we all love, biceps, delts, traps. You should be hitting these passively through your main compound lifts, your big rocks, but if you want to sprinkle them in, you can do. These are the garnish, not the main course. If you're worried more about the bicep curl variation you're doing, but you haven't even got 100 kilo bench press yet, you're worrying about the wrong things. And like I said, you cannot eat like a toddler. You've got to start eating like an adult. Nutrition really doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need a 9-step meal plan. Just start having 3 main meals and 1 to 2 snacks a day. In those meals, just have some solid protein and then have some fruit and veg and drink lots of water. The best PED stack I've ever seen is sleep, food, and consistency. Now, speaking of consistency, I want to give you something I stole from Dane Miller. Dane Miller talks about a system called his 4-for-4 system, where he talks about 4 sessions a week for 4 years. I have changed that to 3 sessions a week for 3 years. But there's levels to this, and I hate that saying. This is what's actually going to make the difference long term. Level 1 is doing 3 sessions for 1 week. Level 2 is doing 3 sessions for 3 weeks. You've started to get a bit of rhythm, but this is where most people quit. Level 3, this is hitting 3 sessions a week for 3 months. Now you're adapting. Strength, muscle, energy, confidence. The bottleneck for most people is they get distracted by shiny new things. They program hop when if they just stuck out the program, they would start getting results. Level 4, this is doing 3 sessions a week for 1 year. This is serious athlete territory. And this doesn't matter if you are an 18-year-old white belt phenom or if you're a 42-year-old divorced dad who is a brown belt. When you do 3 sessions a week for a whole year, I guarantee you there is serious visible changes and serious performance changes. But again, the bottleneck I see from level 3 to level 4 is people get comfy and start to slide backwards. Now, level 5, this is doing 3 sessions a week for 3 years. You literally become that person. Training isn't something you just do, it's just a part of you. So, final takeaways from this. The secret is consistency. And for me, I think it comes down to enjoyment. When you enjoy something, you're more consistent. And when you're more consistent, you get results. And when you get results, you're more consistent and you enjoy it. When you enjoy it, you're more consistent. And when you're more consistent, you get results. And when you get results, you enjoy it. And it's just this lovely flywheel. Stick to a plan. Don't complicate it. Just show up, lift, repeat. 3 sessions a week for a year. Through holidays, through injuries, through life. That's how you build a body that lasts and that can grapple. And again, to finish off, I do want to thank everybody that did comment, subscribe. It really, really does tickle my balls. Please do comment below. I will reply to everything. I really do appreciate it. If you do steal the templates and start to use it, please tag me at grapplestrong.co on Instagram or at jbell1. But yeah, that is it. That's how you take great exercises and actually program to get jacked for grappling. It doesn't matter if you're rolling twice a week or every day. This is how you make it work for you. And like, subscribe, share it with your mates. I promise to do a video every week, 7 p.m. every Sunday. And also remember, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. Cheers for watching, Shaggers.